Upgrading your camera is super exciting. The specs are better, the image is sharper, and you finally got that cinematic look that you've been chasing. But the part that no one tells you about is that when you level up your camera, you're not just upgrading your camera, you're upgrading everything else too. So in this video, I wanted to break down the real cost of upgrading your camera, from new computers to storage to batteries. Let's talk about the hidden upgrades you're gonna need if you want your new camera to actually work for you. So first off, let's just say you're upgrading from a crop sensor to full frame. Depending on your camera and its capabilities, the first thing you'll possibly be looking at upgrading is your lenses. Unless you're okay with vignetting, your APS-C lenses won't cover your full frame sensor. So you'll either end up having to plan on cropping it in post or upgrading to a camera like the A7 IV that allows for in-camera cropping. This next one took me by surprise. After grabbing an A7S III and trying to dial in my settings to how I wanted them, I realized that all of the SD cards that I owned wouldn't allow me to film in certain codecs or frame rates because they just weren't fast enough. And it makes sense because you're now shooting 10-bit 4K footage, or maybe in your case, 6K footage depending on the camera you may be upgrading to. But I was able to make some adjustments, and luckily I was still able to get pretty good footage with my V30 cards. But to this day, if I ever want to shoot in 4K 120, I need to grab some V90 or CF Express cards, which are like double the cost of standard V30s. But thankfully, 60 frames per second generally works out perfectly for me, so I just utilize the settings that my SD cards allow. But again, this is something for you to keep in mind. Another thing about that 4K 10-bit footage is that those files are massive. The computer I had at the time wouldn't preview the files, so I could only open them in my editing software, which then caused my computer to lag and breathe and scream like crazy. So I was back online, looking at new computers, assessing how much I could sell my current one for, and also adding up the cost of new hard drives. Which brings me to my next upgrade, laptops and storage. After finally getting my dream camera, I was back at square one, needing to spend more money on an upgraded processor, more RAM, and purchasing more external SSDs and hard drives just to make editing and playback smooth. And that's because a better camera demands a better workflow. Storage is a silent killer when 4K footage is eating up space like crazy. To put things in perspective, one shoot can easily be 100 gigs or more. So while you're dreaming about your new camera and all of the amazing things that you plan to capture, just consider the specs of your current workflow and if you have enough internal and external storage to work uninterrupted, or if you'll just need to add a new computer or hard drive to your cart as well. Next up on the list are all of the various camera accessories that are key to an efficient and effective shoot day. So I won't name them all, but things like batteries for longer shoots, which then leads into building better rigs for your camera, which include a cage, top handle, a monitor, cables, ND filters, creative filters, all of the things, maybe even a gimbal. I think you get it. It all adds up fast. So just again, consider all of the things outside of your camera that you may need to add to that cart before checking out. Next up is audio. From lav mics to boom mics to wireless mics, the options are endless, but it's the one thing that you don't really want to skimp on. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to watch a movie or seen something on YouTube or just scrolling social media, and the audio is the thing that turned me off before I could even watch what the video was about. Because the audio also helps you tell the story. And if it's distracting, it pulls you out of the visual aspect. So again, it's just something that you want to consider based off of the kind of videos that you'll be filming. So if you know you'll be doing more run and gun, maybe it would be good to grab a wireless mic or something that you can attach to the person that you're going to be filming. Or if you're considering doing more documentary style, more sit down interviews or podcasts, then you may want to look into condenser or boom mics. But again, just something to consider as you're thinking about grabbing a new camera. Next up are lights. I'm almost inclined to say that lighting is more important than your camera itself, but obviously that would be me embellishing a lot. But your camera is nothing without the lighting. Even if you have a camera that is good in low light, like the A7S III or the FX3, you still want to make sure you have lights that can allow you to tell your story effectively. Lighting is, again, kind of like your audio. It's something that you don't want to make an afterthought. It's something that you want to consider with the camera that you're buying and the stories that you want to tell. Your lighting helps set the mood. It sets the tone for what you were trying to display or relay to the person that's going to be watching your video. So grabbing a main key light would be something that I would suggest doing with a softbox that makes that light a lot softer and again allows you to tell the story that you're trying to tell. And you can always continue to build and add more lights from there. Even if you get something small like a attachable light that you can add to your camera, just don't make your lighting an afterthought. Last but certainly not least, the most unexpected expense has been high-speed internet and all of the monthly subscriptions that I've had to purchase. Prior to entering this industry, I had standard internet, which worked well for me in the audio industry because the largest file size you'll send may be a couple of gigs, but even that's not normal. That's generally only if you're sending an album full of songs or a tracked out studio session. But most individual song file sizes are about 75 to 100 megabytes, not 20 gigabytes. And I'll never forget trying to upload and send footage after my first gig using the A7S III, and it took several hours to upload and eventually send. I was confused, and more than that, I was frustrated. But after a little research, I realized that my internet just wasn't fast enough. And next thing you know, I was pulling out my card again to upgrade my internet service to the highest and fastest that my internet provider offered, which now has been amazing, but again, another expense that I was just not initially prepared for. I thought my router was just broken. So after upgrading, it took me basically from about $50 to $60 a month for internet to about $130 a month to get the internet speeds that would allow me to send 5 to 10 gigabyte videos in 10 minutes versus 10 hours. And again, it's a welcome addition now, but nevertheless an unexpected expense. So just something to keep in mind. Now, after I upgraded my internet, I also slowly started to realize just how many web subscriptions I need to run a fully functional video production company, from online cloud storage for client file sharing to royalty-free subscriptions for audio and visual assets. I quickly started to realize that running a successful video production company was tied to more than just the cool cameras that I wanted to purchase, but that it would be about everything that would help facilitate the work that I wanted to produce with those cameras. So with all of that being said, I'm sure you're wondering if upgrading your camera or purchasing a camera at all is even worth it. And yes, the answer is yes, 100%. The image quality, the low light performance, the dynamic range, all of that is worth it. But you do need to budget for the ecosystem that supports that camera. Otherwise, it's like buying a high-end luxury car and trying to run it on regular gas. It's just not smart. So if you're thinking about upgrading, make sure you upgrade your entire workflow. And if you've already upgraded your camera recently, let us know in the comments what was the one upgrade you didn't expect to need afterwards, and let's try to help the next creator avoid that shock. As always, I hope that this video provides some context and maybe even a checklist of some things for you to consider before shopping for your next camera. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, do all of the YouTube things, and I will catch you all on the next one.